Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a super exciting video. So first off, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find this video helpful because I am going to take you on a ride between several eyeshadow palettes. I am really going to review, the purpose of this video is to review the new Huda New Nudes eyeshadow palette. However, I'm going to compare it to a couple of palettes that I think a lot of people are going to be wondering if it's similar to, and that's Urban Decay's Naked Cherry and Anastasia's Modern Renaissance. So if you're interested in seeing primarily a review of this, but if it compares pretty similarly to this or this, then just keep on watching. Okay, first and foremost, what I want to tell you is that I'm going to start off with the review of the Huda palette because that is really what this video is all about. Later on in the video, and I'll put the timestamp right here if you're looking just to see what the similarities are because you already know what this one looks like, but you're kind of wanting to know what they pair up as or how they side by side, then I will put the timestamp so that you know you can skip right on. The last time I did one of these, I got a comment saying, you know, I had to watch all through anyways. So I don't want you to waste your time if you're not looking for an actual review of this. So first off, you guys know the drill. I'm going to take you on packaging, description, swatches, all of that. So the packaging is actually really neat. It's a like plastic clear, not clear, but it's hard to describe. It's plastic and it's almost kind of like a little bit see-through. It's white and it does say New Nude on the cover. And then let me take you real quick into the description. As a side note, it is $65. However, those of you who are Rouge, I know are taking advantage of the sale now. I don't think I'll have this up in time for you to take advantage of the sale if you this makes you decide that you want it, but those other tiers, I know your sales are coming up. So this is a game-changing palette that reinvents nude with revolutionary textures and colors. Reinventing nude so you can experience it like never before, the new Nude Palette by Huda is versatile and wearable in equal measure. Delivering infinite possibilities, this unexpected palette encourages you to experiment, empower, and express yourself however you please. You guys know I love unique. I love buying things that I don't have that add to my collection, so that's kind of exciting. We'll go through that and see if that really is the case. The all-in-one eyeshadow palette consists of 18 highly pigmented shades ranging from flattering mattes to shimmer-drenched hues and has everything you need to transform your lids. The carefully curated lineup is studded with easy-to-use combinations from soft berry to dusty copper and rosy pink to golden taupe tones. Y'all already know, if you're a regular on my channel, you know these tones are like my favorites. The new Nude Palette boasts a variety of game-changing textures and colors, balancing cool and warm tones to complement the best of both worlds. The new Nude Palette includes 10 highly pigmented matte eyeshadows formulated with aloe vera and coconut oil for butter-like application. 4 reflective shades feature shimmering pearl flecks for a gorgeous duochromatic finish. The 2 glitter formulas are infused with innovative silicones for advanced adherence, pigmentation, disbursement, and luminosity. The pressed pearl shade combines, let's see, acacia, jojoba, I hope that's how you pronounce it, and sunflower wax for a high shimmer finish that layers effortlessly on top of mattes, adding dreamy depth and dimension. The concealer base shade allows for flawless application and boosts eyeshadow's pigment intensity. Boy, that was a long description. Also, the palette is made in Italy for those of you who are interested, and then for the packaging, this is what it looks like. I have said, I think with every release of these types of palettes, her 18-pan palettes, that her packaging is stunning. And I think I remember saying in the Desert Dusk palette that she is so pretty, and I know this sounds very shallow, but she's so pretty and attractive and beautiful that it's just kind of nice to have her on the cover. I think that's awesome that she puts herself on the cover of her brand's products, and it's just so like aesthetically pleasing. Like you can look at it and be like, wow, I you know, this palette's gonna give me that. The lettering is kind of holographic. It's really pretty, it's unique, and I love that. So the weightiness to it feels like the others, the Rose Gold and the Desert Dusk. I've told y'all before, I love her inserts. I think it's just so unique and just out of the box. It's not your regular clear insert. It's very pretty, and I keep them each and every time. On the inside, you do have the mirror, and then you've got this eyeshadow palette that, like, when I first opened it, I thought, wow, this is unique. So that being said, just based on looking at it, it does match the description, and that the description said there were unique shades in here, like something out of the ordinary, something different. So here's what it looks like. There's a whole lot of everything. Like it said, there's mattes. There's the two, it's basically like loose glitter. It's just packed into a pan. You've got a concealer shade, so those of you who like to cut creases, those of you who like to put down like a white or a cream color base to kind of make your eyeshadow just pop depending on the look you're doing. Let's see, there are those four. They almost look kind of like camo type shades, like camouflage. It's hard to describe because it's got those little white pearl thingies spread throughout, and it looks like marble. It's just really, really bizarre. Nothing like I've seen before. So kind of like these right here. It's just very, very innovative. And then you've got the one kind of satiny shade that's very like, I mean, that's the best way I could, like metallic satin type shade. I don't think satin's the right word, and I know the description said what it was, but anyways, let's go ahead and go through swatches. I'll tell you what I'm wearing on my eyes today. FYI, I'm going to do a tutorial with this palette very, very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And I will be right back with the first set of swatches. Here's the first four, and we've got Bare, Crave, Play, and Fantasy. And these two right here are those kind of marbly type of shades, and you can tell they are intensely metallic, very shimmery, very sparkly. Next up, we've got Love Bite, Spanked, Lace, and Daydream. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, and I tell you this every single time, that mattes a lot of times I find swatch like this very patchy, very dry, kind of sheer, but that just is never an indicator for me on how, you know, whether or not the shadow is going to perform well. I never take that as like judging a book by its cover. It's only when I really apply it to the lid with my brushes and my fingers that I really determine, okay, yeah, the performance matches the swatch, but you never know until you start using it. So just wanted to preface by saying that because yes, you're going to see some of this patchiness throughout as I swatch them. I'm gonna let you know, I skipped over the two glitter shades. I'm gonna do those at the end. So just as an FYI, here we've got Tickle, we've got Kinky, we've got Concealed, which is that concealer shade, and then we've got Secret. The concealer is really not gonna show up very much. I mean, it's really just a shade to lay down to kind of add a little bit of a blank canvas to your lid. But it's right in here for reference. Here we've got Tease, Raw, Charmed, and Teddy. The first thing I thought of when I saw Charmed was Charmed, I'm sure. I don't hear that word very often, and I know that's so random, but that's what came to my mind, so I felt the need to tell you guys. That's what those look like. This one right here is another one of those marbly kind of camo type shades, and it is just stunning. Very metallic, very, very shimmery, sparkly. The two glitter shades are called Excite and Infatuated, and I will tell you, and you can probably tell by the way they look on my finger, they are legit chunky glitter. They feel like sand when you rub your finger in the pan. They do feel like actual loose kind of MAC glitter just pressed into a pan. So just keep that in mind. They are stunning. First off, okay, before I get into all of that, because I start wanting to go off into one topic and another, and then I forget half of what I want to say. So let me first take you into what I am wearing on my eyes today, if I can even remember. Okay, so in the crease, I've got the shade Play. It's this peachy shade right here. Then in my, let's see, Tease right here is what I used pretty much to deepen the crease, and I took it to the outermost part of the lid. Then what I did was I mixed these two right here. It's Love Bite and Spanked. I mixed these two, and I went in a little bit before that outer shade, which was Tease. I know this is like sounding so complicated. It's not. I mixed them and I put them right there. And then what I did was I also did my inner corner. So I kind of did outer and inner, and then I had tease on the most outer. And then, of course, you know, I love doing halo eyes with a standout shade in the middle, and that's what I did. And I used the shade, what did I use? I used the shade Daydream, which is kind of like a lavender pinky shade. So that's what I've got going on. On the lower lash line, I do have the shade Spanked. This one right here. I'm going to zoom you in and take you over all of that real quick one more time so that you can see it up close and personal. Okay, so here's what we've got going on. I've got Play in the crease, which is very, very light. You can hardly even see it peeking through. On the most outer part of my lid, I have got Tease. It's kind of that mauve brown shade right here. This is what I mean where I took it in just a little bit right here. And then on the inner portion of my lid, I have those two shades mixed. So Love Bite and Spanked. And then in the middle, I have Daydream, which is one of those super stand out, like marbly type of shades, softer than butter, no joke. They are so soft to the touch. And then the lower lash line, I do have Spanked. I forgot to mention what I have in my inner corner. It is Crave. It is also one of those marbly standout shades, and that's the kind of like the champagne type of shade. So that is what we have going on. I don't have anything on my brow bone. I will also tell you that I used that concealer shade, kind of like to blank out that little middle portion for this to go on top of. So that's what we've got going on for today's look from the Huda palette. Now let me zoom you out and give you thoughts on this, and then I will take you into the comparison of the other palettes. So first off, I've told you this before with other Huda reviews. I've told you this before with Fenty reviews. Sometimes with brands that are pretty much my all-time favorites, it's hard for me to keep an open mind because pretty much I make up my mind that I'm already going to love it because they don't let me down. So I always have to go into this with like, okay, regardless of the outcome. I mean, if I don't like it, I don't like it. And I told y'all that with the last Fenty review, which blew my mind that I wasn't crazy about that palette. But it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, if I don't love it, I just need to not love it and not try so hard to love it. But on the other hand, you know, I mean, it's super pleasant, so not surprised, but it's super pleasant to know, hey, I expected to love this and I did. So I'll tell you that the mattes, first off, the mattes do swatch very patchy and very dry. They apply very effortlessly. They apply very easily, almost creamy, and some of them do take building up because they are lighter. So Play, I went in about 3 times into my crease because I really wanted it to kind of peek through. It is a lighter shade, and so I did. It's almost like a little bit of a thinner consistency. I'm not sure how to describe it, and I feel like all the mattes have that thinner consistency. So I know it said they were infused with like aloe and stuff, but they don't feel as creamy as the description makes them out to be. For me, it's no big deal because honestly, they have like gone on so easily. I have not had any patchiness, any issues, any dryness, any fallout, crumblies, nothing. I mean, you're going to get the occasional little fallouts. I don't have major issues. As far as kick up, also for those of you who really care about kick up, this does not have a whole lot of kick up. It has some. I think all palettes have some. I don't think you're ever going to encounter a palette that has no kick up. This has a little bit. It doesn't have anything in the way of excessive kick up. So there's a tidbit on that. As far as those marbly type shades, the standout creamy shades, a lot of people gripe about some of her shades not being able to be used with a brush because they're meant to be used with a finger. Now I know she remastered her rose gold to be used with a brush, but I still find that it goes on better with a finger. Anyways, that being said, these camo shades I find hardly pick up anything with a brush. And if you keep on trying to dig with a brush, you're going to end up damaging your pan of product. You're going to create a little crevice. You're going to it's not going to be pretty. The easiest and best way is with your finger. And that is just tried and true. I will stand by that every single time I've used this with my finger. Blown away. And the thing about it is you hardly need product when you use your finger. You just grab a little bit, put it where you want it, and it's like, wow. If you want to build it up to even more extreme intensity, take a little bit more and pack it on the top. With my finger, I have gone through very little product and have had the most ultimate payoff. So just heads up on that. The glitters, they are loose glitter. So just applying them with your brush is not going to seal the deal. It's not going to be pretty, it's not gonna be fun, it's gonna get in your eye, you're gonna have fallout, you're gonna get frustrated and hate this palette. And I don't want you to do that. This needs a glitter glue. I don't care what you use, what adhesive, whether it's NYX, whether it's now Anastasia, whether it's Too Faced glitter glue, use an adhesive before going in with this loose glitter. You will love the outcome. It looks so stunning. It looks like a disco ball on your eye, and I am so excited to use that for holiday. So if you go in with a glitter glue, you will save, not only have a beautiful look, you will save yourself so much aggravation. I did pick up the Anastasia glitter adhesive during the sale. I have not yet used it, but I'm looking forward to trying that out. My tried and true has been for years, the Too Faced glitter glue, and I love it. I'm not a fan of the NYX. Too Faced has been kind of my tried and true, and I stick by it. I'm looking forward to trying this next one by Anastasia. So that's that. This one right here, Kinky, I feel that one goes on just as well with a finger as with a brush. So kind of nice that you have the option to go either or. It is intensely pigmented. It's saturated with color. So I've told y'all before, these berry pinky types of shades, if you have got green or hazel eye color, these types of shades will make your eye color pop, and I mean like very intensely. I have green eyes, but I feel like with these types of shades, like even more intense, you can see the green, and I'm okay with that. That's one reason these types of shades are my favorites. And so I think you know what I'm gonna say. This palette is an absolute dazzled for me. I love it beyond words, and honestly, I think this is one of the most innovative palettes I've seen either in a long time or ever. I'm gonna go with ever because I've never seen these types of like mixed shades that have, it's almost, so these standout shades have sparkle. It's not chunky glitter. It is intense sparkle that's built into the formula of the eyeshadow. It is really, really creamy. So, and I don't get any kind of creasing or anything like that. It stays on. I've had people, like cashiers, are like, your eyes look so good. I'm like, thank you. And I'm not trying to be vain. It's just one of those things where I just inside, I'm like, I love this palette so much. These shades are ridiculous. They're so easy to use. I've heard people say that like this is really not a beginner friendly palette. I don't know. I think I would kind of beg to differ. I think the mattes are quite easy to use. Aside from like the glitter, which can be very destructive if you don't use a glitter glue, really all a beginner would need to know is use your finger instead of a brush for these creamier types of shades. I think if a beginner knows that, I'm like stumbling on my words, it is actually the easiest palette to use because you don't have to like be super detailed and go, just comb with your finger, pat it on, and you are done and you have the most beautiful look of life. So those shades are beautiful, so easy to use, and the sparkle, I don't know how to describe it to you, but whenever I hear the word light reflective pearls or this, I'm like, psh, this, like that's the first thing that came to my mind when I first put it on for the first time. I was like, wow. I think this is what they mean by light reflective pearls. Like it just catches the light so beautifully. Anyways, need I say more? This is stunning. It is pretty much now one of my favorite palettes of all time. It's innovative, it's different, it's something I haven't seen before. I love you, Huda. Why do you always come out with such amazing stuff? Okay guys, now that we've gone through that, I want to quickly go over the Cherry and Modern Renaissance for you. So let's first do Cherry because that's I think the one that most people are going to be wondering about because of the shade range. It looks to be like it would be very similar. So you know the Cherry palette. I've done a review on this if you are familiar with my channel. But let me give you a side-by-side for you real quick. So here is Cherry, here is Huda. Let me see how I can bring this in frame without making a disaster and ruining this beautiful palette that I now call one of my favorites. Okay. Let's do this. And if it's a disaster, it'll be caught on camera. So I hope you can see side by side the differences, the similarities. That is what they look like side by side. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is, at first glance, you'd say, oh yeah, berries and berries. Upon further look, if you start swatching these side by side, you would absolutely find out there is really no similarity whatsoever. Aside from the overall, yeah, that looks like a berry palette. Yeah, that kind of looks like a berry palette. They're really not. The shades that might look somewhat similar, once you swatch them, they are anything but. So for example, the shades that most quickly caught my eye were Bing in the Cherry palette. So Bing is this one right here. It's kind of pink. And then Spanked right here. So let me just swatch them side by side. I've got Spanked on one finger, and then I've got Bing on the other. So here you go, side by side. And then let me swatch them here. And so they're both actually very horribly swatched, but this one's more pink and this one is more berry. So they are not the same in the least whatsoever. They are actually quite different. The next one that I would probably point out, let's see, which one did I have? Okay, so Juicy is probably like the peachiest color in this palette, and then Play is the, I guess, peachiest one in this one. In this palette, it is very, very light in the Huda palette. Once you come into the Cherry palette, it's very, very peach. So they are very different. Not the same whatsoever. Can you see that the top one is significantly darker than the bottom? So that being said, let me take you through one more. Which one did I have going on? Okay, so then the next thing I've got is Feels. So this is out of the Cherry palette. And then I'm going to take you to a couple of different, well, I guess let's do this one because this is the one that immediately my eyes went to. So this is Feels and this is Tickle. This one, Feels, is more of a brown tone and Tickle is more of a pink mauve tone. So again, quite different. Now those are the three closest similarities that I could find, whether it be in the pan and on my hand on swatches. Everything else is pretty much just so different. The last one I'm going to point out to you is Hotspot with the Cherry palette, which is kind of the white one, and Bear, which is right here. And this is probably going to be the most similar out of all of them, just because they are like that brow bone type of highlight. And that's what they look like right there. So those out of all of them are going to be the most similar to each other. These I do find to be like, okay, there's not a huge tone difference. They are, you know, it's a bone shade color in both palettes. They're really quite different, and I would say if you already own Cherry, step out and grab this one because they are so different. This one has those unique shades. It has those marbly shades. It has the glitter shades. This has none of that. So this one, very, very different. This, I would never consider this one a dupe. Real quick, let me take you into Modern Renaissance. Modern Renaissance is even less similar. And so this one is also a berry tone palette, and this is the one everyone compares to as the original berry tone palette. Again, let me side by side for you so that you can see. And this one, right off the bat, you'll be able to tell that it does not look in any way, shape, or form similar. Modern Renaissance has deeper berry shades. It's got some oranges, some browns. And I think your Huda is going to be more along the lines of like pinks and lighter berries. I do not find, again, other than probably this Bone Shade Tempera. So I'm going to swatch that one for you, and then I'll swatch Bear. So those are your two closest shades, which I forgot to take off the last ones. So that's what they look like. Again, horrible swatches because these mattes are very, very dry and chalky and kind of thin, even though they perform really, really well. But aside from that, you've got like the orange, the dark browns. You don't have that really in the nude palette. So again, this being the most different out of all of them. So that being said, I love this palette. I would absolutely recommend it. I think if you buy one palette this season, that's a tough one because I actually like a few. I would say it's going to be between this one and the Natasha Denona Cranberry. Oh, no, Bronze Temptation. I don't know. Between those three, I love them. This one is super top. I mean, probably one of my favorites of all time at this point. And I've only owned it a very short period of time. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope that, you know, if you were wondering if there were similarities, that you found that helpful. And I hope I was able to catch some of you in time for your upcoming sale. Okay guys, before I let you go, I need to give you the verse of the day. Now for those of you new to my channel, I do love giving a verse of the day after every video, just in the form to give you encouragement, motivation, inspiration, because I know it can be a very tough day-to-day life, a very cruel world, and I just hope this inspires you and gives you some sort of encouragement. Today's comes from Proverbs 19:23, and it says, "The fear of the Lord leads to life, then one rests content, untouched by trouble." All right, guys, Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. If you are new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I would really love to have you as part of this YouTube family. I know the group I have now is just such a wonderful YouTube family, and I am grateful for each and every one of you. All right, guys, more videos to come, so stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.